this waiting till something happens and then defending against the next time it'll happen. That's bullshit. You need people that are imaginative and creative to imagine what kind of threats might come at you and do that with a sense of likelihood and then prepare for those. Tired of this reactionary shit. That gets people killed. We talked earlier about researchers aggregate. 63 studies find significant negative association between intelligence and religiosity. Now, this person, I think, comes from an angle. And, of course, the reason I say that is when he speaks about this, it's a meta-analysis of 63 studies that showed a significant negative association between intelligence and religiosity. He's basically coming out here and saying that, hey, these studies show that if you're religious, you're less likely to be intelligent. And if you're intelligent, you're less likely to be religious. There are many, you can't really argue that. These studies are showing that, but they're not showing cause and effect. They're just showing the correlation. Now, what he says right down below that is somewhere Fox News Channel is canceling whatever they had planned for today so they can discuss this. All right, so there comes the left tilt. Now you know he's attacking Fox, so he's coming from the left or maybe a center position, but most likely a left position. So then you have to begin to question, okay, what exactly are these 63 studies he's citing? Well, they're legit. I've checked them out, but I'm going to leave them there for you to check out as well. And if you find any problems with it, I would encourage you to share those, sharing that on the page as well. I'll give you guys the link to this in the chat room in a second because I know you're just dying to see it. The question is, are religious people dumber in general? And are smart people less likely to be religious? There's a part of you that already knows the answer to this, but then there might be a part of you that's fighting the truth on this. And I'm going to let you work that out with yourself. You can decide if you believe in the studies. You can decide if they were done in empirical ways with controlled settings. And you can decide the causation versus correlation debate in each case. But the graphs don't lie. Let those black gangbangers go after him, solve two problems. Ooh, listen to Andrew. And you know he's not racist, so SAS are pretty good. In fact, Air Force here are shit. I didn't know that. Yeah, SAS is a well-trained force, that's for sure. I think if I put a SAS up against a Navy SEAL, in general, I think the Navy SEAL wins physically, but I think the SAS wins intelligence-wise. I think the width of their training is far broader than your typical Navy SEAL. Now, you take one of your SAS guys from England and you put him up against, say, one of my Air Force combat control guys, I think we got a pretty even match there. In fact, I would probably shift the education edge over to the combat control guy and shift the physical edge over to the SAS at that point. But all of them have their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, the gangbang. Did you hear about the guy that... So he's at this... Andrew, I bet you didn't hear about this, and I can't remember. Let me pull up the news and I'll know. But the guy did get convicted of first-degree murder. Now, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but first-degree murder is premeditated. Isn't that correct? So a guy's at a gas station. Long story short, a truck pulls up. It's got like 4 black guys in it. They're playing their music really loud. He asks them to turn it down. They do turn it down, but then they start, they get pissed off as they think about it, and they kind of come after him, at least verbally, and he imagines that they might have a shotgun or something that looked like a shotgun in the car, so he opens fire. Now, aggravated, second-degree murder, maybe, but first-degree, premeditated, I don't see that. I think you got to think about that for a while. Now, unless they were convinced that he thought, the first group of black guys I see that have their music loud, I'm going to shoot them up. That must be what the jury thought, because they got him on first-degree murder. I'm wondering if that was really justice, or if that was a jury's reaction to fear about racial tension in America. I can't be sure. The first trial was a mistrial with him. They were a deadlocked jury. Let's go to CNN. We haven't used them in quite a while. What would you do? black kids playing their music too loud, you ask them to turn it down. First of all, black guys, white guys, Indians, I don't care where you're from, would you please turn the fucking music down when other people are going to be affected by your music? That's respectful. That's respectful to their eardrums and their taste. Don't make it to where they have to start playing classical music or country music just as loud just to combat you, because what's that solving? Turn it down, show a little respect, turn it back up when you're on the road, and it's not going to kill anybody's ears. But secondly, unless there's a local ordinance against what you're doing, you have a right to do it. And nobody has a right to shoot you over a perceived threat because they've asked you to turn it down and now they think you're mad. So that's America for you, but I don't know. I'm just not real sure about murder one in this case. And I'm not a legal expert, but I've read a little here and there. I'm looking for the U.S. focus. Here we go. What was this guy's name? He was on, I watch all the news shows. I try to skip back and forth between all the different channels. I'm a Raleigh Factor, what's his name, Lawrence O'Donnell or something? Can't remember his name. He comes on MSNBC, and then I'll go to CNN, and I'll pass between them and see what I see. But they're not showing this guy that was found guilty of murder one. So I'm going to have to search. First degree murder. Because I think this is an important case. And this could be the start of something in America. Michael Dunn, that's his name. So I'm going to pull that up. And they'll give the specifics of this case. But I'm not bringing it up right now, no. And this really surprised me. I don't know if it's going to work in the chat room with all those percentage marks and shit, but it's about Michael Dunn. Remember, the jury was deadlocked on the first one, and they had a retrial. So that was considered a mistrial. So they have had a new trial, and now they got him for first-degree murder for a guy who told some black kids to turn their music down, then perceived them as a threat, so shot up the car and ended up killing one of them. I believe one of them. He might have killed two. I'm surprised they didn't just go with aggravated manslaughter. I think that's what it's called. Because that's what it sounded like to me. But I guess they were convinced that this man went out looking for a group of black guys. And what's funny is he was on a trip to see somebody in Florida, and I think he was with his girlfriend. So, you typically don't go on a trip with an objective in mind and then decide that on the way I hope I see a carload of black guys, I can shoot them all up if they're playing their music loud. Doesn't sound right to me. But this guy sounded pretty racist. When I heard his testimony, he would get sad over the fact that his dog died when he was talking about it, but not sad over the fact that he killed somebody. And I'm thinking, okay, so now you're basically placing the importance of your dog being sad over your dog dying, but not over a human dying. I have to think about that. Okay, so I'm going to share that link here very quickly and the Truth on Tap episode announcement on the Facebook page. And we're going to go back to chat, see where everybody's going with the chat. Shooting black people legal in Florida? Yeah, they tried to make it legal, didn't they? Jorge tried to make it legal. Andrew says, funny, all my black friends like the fact that I said I hated rap. No wigger here. So it was a white guy. Wow. Yeah. It was a white guy shooting at a carload full of black guys that he said he saw them raise something like a handle that looked like a shotgun. That's bullshit. He didn't, but he may have felt threatened. I believe that. He should have felt threatened. You tell a carload of black guys to turn down their music and you're a solo white guy, older white guy. Yeah, a lot of times they'll jump right on you for that. So they waited. Well, okay, but Barco, you're making a false comparison there. This is good. We need to talk about this. Hi, Grandpa Al. Good to see you, bro. Barco says, Kevin, who would you be more sad over dying, your cat or some random person you never met? Okay, in that case, probably my cat. But what if this random person I never met is somebody I shot? I saw him. I looked in his eyes before I shot him. Now all of a sudden, you have a human death that you're responsible for, and you're evaluating the sadness over the death of one of your pets toward the sadness of ending that human life. So that changes it when you're directly involved with it. White guy fucked up. He should have killed everyone in the car and then planted a gun on one of them. Okay, he might have gotten away with that, Barco. Well, I think his biggest fuck up was driving away. He drove away, went to a hotel, and decided to call the cops later. I think it was actually the next day. Yeah, no, I'm going to be more concerned over the guy shot than my cat dying. Sorry. Maybe we shouldn't view humans as more valuable than animals, but if we don't, then why don't we send the monkeys into space with missions? I think there's a reason for that. High five, Barco, Andrew, Kevin. I don't know where Apocalypse went, that fucker. He's supposed to be in the chat room right now. I can't go much longer, guys. I'm at my 2-hour limit. Grandpa Al, do you know any other shows going on? Are you going to do a show? Or where's RD tonight? Andrew, have you ever done a show? Have you ever thought about doing one? I can tell you right now that American chicks would dig your accent. Automatically, I know that. Hero Puis, yeah, I might shut up a car full of niggas last night. Not sure, I didn't stick around. That's probably what he said. No clue, okay. Grandpa, like I said before, I don't have your promo loaded. I don't have hardly anything loaded right now with this loaner computer. But when I get my new one in a few days, I'll get all that stuff on it again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was a fairly wealthy white dude getting gas. Yep. You remember that case now, Barco? This was about, I don't know, 6 months ago. He was on trial, and they had a mistrial. The thing about mistrials is the benefit almost always goes to the prosecution then, because they've had a warm-up rehearsal, and the defense, they're not really getting any new evidence. They're throwing out all of their cards in the first trial. So it almost always benefits the prosecution when there's another trial. I'm glad you got my back, Grandpa Al, because I don't have my back. My back is like it belongs to somebody else. It's always fucking up on me. Yeah, they were debating whether or not to even charge him. No, I don't. Did they have video? We might be talking about two different cases, but I don't know. Maybe they did find some video, but I hadn't heard that. I haven't been following the second trial very closely at all. Never done a show. Was involved with one. He quit, short version, and now I am here. I think you should do one, Andrew. You're Australian, you're ex-military, automatically you have a shitload of stuff to talk about right there. I don't even need to know anything else about you. The fact that you were married to a black lady, I mean, that is gonna, you are unique. You are completely unique to American culture. They would love that shit. They would eat it up. I haven't heard your voice, but if you're Australian and you're a man, you're going to have an accent American women love. Especially when you say shit like, a dango ate my baby. Alright, I've got to work on my Australian accent. It's not the best in the world. Rich kids usually get off with a slapped ass, but they always use the self-defense attitude. Is he hitting on me? Oh my God. You know, that's funny, Grandpa Al. We were talking earlier about how to identify psychopaths, as we talked about in a previous episode. There is a big witch hunt going on right now, finding psychopaths. Okay, Barco's getting the video of this guy at the gas station, I guess. And it's important that you are able to identify psychopaths to the best of your ability. Remember, it takes a psychiatrist to truly identify one. But on this scale that we were talking about before, I think there's like 14 major things that you can learn that you use to rate a psychopath. I think the Hare scale. Let me just pull it up again. I'm going to pull up a totally different website so we get a different perspective here. How to identify identify a psychopath.